My number one school is Siena College.
My top school is Washington College.
My number one is UNH. My top school is St. Olaf.
My number one school is UVM. My number one school is UConn.
My top school is the University of Virginia.
My number one school is Tufts.
My top pick would be Radford University.
My number one school is MIT.
The U.
For the average U.S. teen, the start of junior year brings with it the responsibility of searching for a college. Yet the expectation for high schoolers is that they must find a perfect fit school that caters to their every need. Though for some this is an achievable goal, for many it may be detrimental to the search process. Whether it be the societal pressure to attend a prestigious university, or parents and peers talking about the feeling when they stepped onto the right campus, these notions may skew a prospective student's pursuit of the ideal school.
I think that if one goes about it properly, the process can actually be very rewarding, very self-rewarding, the process of discovery, kind of the transition into adulthood. I understand where that notion is coming from, but one of the things I would say that if it does feel like it's heading down the wrong path, or if a student were to feel that there's a lot of stress or unnecessary anxiety, that also can be an occasion to talk with parents or peers or mentors about why that is the case.
Yes, definitely. And I talked to a lot of people that are my friends at UVM, and they kind of felt the same way, like, oh my god, I have to go to this one school because that's where people think I should go, or because of grades I got. And then they end up somewhere else and they're just as happy or even happier. And they kind of realize, like, wait, I didn't have to go to this one place, and that pressure was not necessary.
The aspect of oh, look at where I'm going, I know where I'm going, and I'm really stoked about it, and I have this sweatshirt that I'm wearing around my high school and stuff like that is definitely a lot of pressure, I think, that is built into the school and the prestige of different schools, and in reality it just kind of comes down to what's right for you.
I think prestige really affects it. When someone says their number one school is Yale, I think the person to whom they're saying that looks more favorably upon them, saying, oh, your first school is Yale. But really anyone can apply to Yale, whether you're the valedictorian or the bottom of your class, so I don't think it really means anything in terms of your caliber, depending on which schools you're applying to.
Many feel that the best way to start the college process is to leave brand names at the door and approach each school with an open mind. What works for one may not work for another, regardless of a school's ranking or the connotation that comes with its name. Those who have already experienced the search process believe that applications should be made based off of what the school does for you, rather than what it has done for those before you.
So I think what I normally suggest is that students have a range of schools, so a diverse range of at least kind of in that 6-ish number. A couple schools that are less competitive. And I think inevitably in that listing of schools, students will kind of be drawn to one kind of first choice school. But I encourage students that if there's a school that they're applying to that's on their list that they don't think they'd be happy going to, then they should take it off their list. I think the societal pressure is definitely there. I think part of that is almost the pressure for some students to feel like they have to apply to that perfect choice school or that prestigious school where there's name recognition. And I think that's kind of this general societal pressure.
Did you feel the need to apply to schools that are, considered to be better schools rather than find one that might be a better fit or you feel better applying to, or even if it's lower?
Definitely. I think especially being in an educated community like Middlebury, it's more common for students to go on to better schools. And so therefore I felt more pressure to apply to at least one school in the Ivy League, even if that wasn't really the school for me. I just felt like I was obligated to do so, even if I didn't really want to. And then the same goes for, maybe a school that's not as selective is right for me, but I didn't feel like I wanted to apply there because there are all these kind of norms and restrictions and what's considered acceptable here. So I sort of ended up applying to schools of the same caliber.
I definitely felt pressure to go somewhere that was like highly regarded because my sister's at Yale, so there's like the older sibling pressure. But then once I kind of like stepped away from that, I decided just to go where I thought I could be happiest, and not where, like, I guess other people could picture me.
Often the misconception of a perfect fit school can inhibit a student's search process. A student can become set on a school and lose sight of other possible options that may suit them better. Students may end up transferring from a school that doesn't fit their academic or social expectations. According to a 2010 New York Times study, about 1 in 3 college students will transfer during their time at a 4-year college.
I think students can always transfer, and I think, personally, I was a student that actually transferred schools, and so being able to talk about that process and know that it's an option and it's okay, and I think students, hopefully the schools that they're applying to are schools that they really want to go to, and if they get there, I think part of it is having a good match of a school, but then the other part of it is for the student to make the most of the experience there. So kind of doing what they can to make it the right fit.
It was a great experience, learned a lot, but in the long run I think I realized I needed a bigger school to find more of like a social connection to people, and this school part was actually pretty easy. Just make sure that the schools that you apply to, you could like actually see yourself going to if it came down to it. I mean, not having a number 1 school isn't the end of the world, and I think that you can you'll know once you get there if it's your school once you actually go there as a student. I think the whole aspect of like you'll step on the campus and you'll feel like you're at home, I don't think that's as true as people say it is.
One of the things I like to share with students and parents is that I like to emphasize that the college process is not a treasure hunt, right? Where the goal is to find a perfect prize at the end. If you go into it thinking you're seeking or wish to find perfection, you're not going to find perfection. I think all places are going to come with their pros and cons, and so I encourage, and at Middlebury we encourage students to think about the process as one of finding the right fit. So I do think there is a very good fit, whether it's perfect or not. I think setting up expectations that high going into it is almost inevitably going to lead to a letdown.
When I applied, I thought so, but now, like, that I'm somewhere else and when I didn't get in, I realized that there's definitely not one perfect place, because every place has something specific to offer and you can make yourself happy wherever you are.